Silence is a powerful force in a world that often values noise. In today's culture of constant updates, loud opinions, and never-ending displays of ambition, choosing to work in silence is a rare but incredibly potent strategy. It's easy to be tempted to announce every move, to share each plan, or to seek validation before the work is even done. But when you decide to put your head down and focus, when you resist the urge to broadcast your every effort, you begin to unlock a deeper level of discipline and strength. Working in silence isn't about secrecy for the sake of mystery. It's about self-respect. It's about not needing applause before the performance. It's about learning to validate your journey from within rather than waiting for recognition from the outside. When you're quiet, you eliminate distractions. You reduce the pressure of public expectation and allow yourself to grow at your own pace, on your own terms. In silence, there is clarity. You're no longer performing for others. You're training, building, refining, not for show but for substance. The loudest voices often lack the deepest roots. Noise can be a mask for insecurity, an attempt to prove worth before it's earned. But when you're silent, you're not wasting energy on convincing anyone of your potential. You're proving it to yourself through action, through consistent effort, through early mornings and late nights that nobody sees. That silence is your sanctuary. It's where mastery is born. It's where resilience is tested and strengthened. Think of every great success story, not the headline but the journey. Behind every overnight success is 1,000 hours of quiet work, unseen sacrifice, and relentless effort. It's the unseen hours that matter most. When you embrace the grind without the spotlight, you're building something real. You're not just showing people what you can do, you're becoming the kind of person who can actually do it. That transformation doesn't need an audience. In fact, it happens better without one. There's something magnetic about a person who doesn't need to speak about their progress, someone whose actions speak louder than any caption, tweet, or boast ever could. That energy is rare. It commands attention not through volume but through presence. When people see the results, when they see how far you've come without ever announcing the journey, it leaves an impact. That kind of success shocks people. Not because they didn't believe it was possible, but because they didn't see it coming. And that's the point. Let them underestimate you. Let them think you're not doing enough. Let them assume you're stagnant, because while they're busy watching each other, comparing and talking, you're in the shadows building something unstoppable. You're learning, failing, growing, and you're doing it without a stage. That's power. That's strength. Silence isn't weakness. It's strategic. It's a choice to conserve your energy for the work that actually matters. This doesn't mean you never speak. It means you choose your moments. You don't need to shout when your success will echo louder than any words. You don't need to explain yourself when your work will do it for you. The ones who are focused, who are obsessed with becoming better, they don't have time to show off. They're too busy earning it. Social media and modern culture often reward the illusion of success, the curated image, the perfect highlight reel. But that's not where greatness comes from. Greatness is born in the quiet, consistent commitment to improvement. It's born when no one is watching and you show up anyway, when you don't feel like it and you push through, when there's no reward in sight but you keep going. That kind of work doesn't look glamorous, and that's why most people skip it. But it's the only kind of work that truly matters. There's a confidence that comes from keeping your goals close to your chest, from protecting your vision from noise, negativity, and doubt. Not everyone deserves access to your dreams in their infancy. Some things need space to grow before they're shown to the world. Working in silence gives you that space. It allows you to make mistakes, to adjust, to evolve, without the pressure of outside opinions. When you stop seeking permission to grow and just start growing, you reclaim your power. You shift the focus from proving others wrong to proving yourself right. And that internal motivation is what sustains you when things get hard. Because they will get hard. There will be setbacks, obstacles, and moments of doubt. But if you've built your journey in silence, you've also built strength. The kind of strength that doesn't crack under pressure, because it wasn't built for attention. It was built for purpose. There's nothing more satisfying than the moment when your results speak for themselves. When the same people who ignored you now want to know how you did it. When the same crowd that doubted you now can't ignore your presence. That shock, that awe, doesn't come from talking about your plans. It comes from executing them. From staying the course when nobody believed, including sometimes yourself. From showing up every single day when no one was clapping and doing the work anyway. The silence becomes a weapon, a tool, a mindset. It keeps you grounded. It keeps you humble. And most importantly, it keeps you focused. Because in the end, it's not the loudest that win, it's the most prepared. And preparation, real preparation, is quiet. It's the mornings no one sees. The reps when the gym is empty. The hours spent reading, studying, practicing, refining. That's what builds greatness. Not hype, not attention, just relentless, quiet effort. In a world obsessed with exposure, be the exception. Don't chase the applause. Chase the skill, the discipline, the consistency. Let them talk. Let them speculate. You just keep building, keep climbing, keep becoming. Because when your time comes, and it will, they won't know what hit them. Every day people are quick to talk about what they're going to do, what goals they're chasing, what dreams they have, how they plan to make it big. But talk is cheap. It's easy to speak about plans, but far more difficult to act on them in the quiet hours when no one is looking. That's where real success is born. Not in the noise, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows, in the silence, in the consistent grind behind closed doors. The world doesn't reward intention. It rewards execution. It's not about how loudly you announce your ambition. It's about how relentlessly you pursue it when no applause is being given. There's a kind of discipline in silence, a discipline that refuses to be distracted by validation, by likes, by recognition. It's a hunger that doesn't crave attention, only results. And when that hunger is fed daily through effort, patience, and repetition, the outcome becomes inevitable. Too many people confuse movement with progress. They stay busy, post updates, talk about the hustle, but deep down they're not building anything that will last. The real ones know. Success doesn't need a press release, it doesn't need a trailer, it doesn't need to be live streamed. Because when the work is real, when the focus is real, the results can't be ignored. They can't be denied. They become so undeniable that even the loudest critics fall silent. In a world obsessed with instant gratification and external validation, working in silence feels counterintuitive. But that's exactly why it's powerful. When you stop announcing every step, you begin moving with purpose. You protect your energy. You protect your vision. You keep your mission safe from outside opinions, from envy, from premature judgment. You let it grow strong in the dark, like roots before a tree ever touches the sky. Silence doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing the hard things, the thankless things, the repetitive things that don't look impressive to others but make all the difference over time. It means waking up before the sun, staying up when others have quit, and showing up for your goals whether or not you feel like it. It's a choice to commit when there's no recognition, no cheerleading, no audience, just the goal and the grind. There's power in being underestimated. When you don't broadcast your every move, people assume you're not moving. That's fine. Let them think that. Let them sleep on you. Because when the time is right, when the work has been done, when the foundation is unshakable, you'll show up. And you'll shock everyone who thought you were standing still. That's the difference between those who want attention and those who want achievement. One talks, the other delivers. When you're quiet about your progress, you become dangerous. Not because you're hiding, but because you're focused. No one knows your next step. No one sees your process, and by the time they realize what you've built, it's already too late for doubt, too late for criticism, too late for resistance. Your success becomes a statement that requires no explanation. Some people think silence is weakness, that if you're not shouting your progress, you're not making any. That couldn't be further from the truth. The strongest storms build quietly, without warning. So does greatness. Greatness grows in the quiet moments of practice, in the repetition that no one claps for, in the thousands of small choices that no one ever sees. That's where excellence is forged and far from the crowd. Working in silence is also about trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in your process. Trust that the work will pay off. It's about understanding that the journey is long and validation is fleeting. If you need applause to keep going, you're not committed to the outcome. You're addicted to the attention. And that's a weakness, because attention fades, hype fades. But results remain, results stay, and results don't lie. The truth is, the most successful people are often the least loud. They don't have time to talk because they're too busy doing. They let their accomplishments speak for them. When they arrive with substance, not just noise. And the shock that comes with that kind of emergence, the shock of seeing someone go from invisible to unstoppable, that's what makes the impact unforgettable. So many give up because they're not being noticed. They think, what's the point of trying so hard if no one sees it? But that mindset is flawed. Recognition is not the reward. Growth is. Mastery is. Discipline is. The joy is in the journey, not the performance. And those who understand this are the ones who win in the long run. Because they're not chasing attention, they're building legacy. When you work in silence, you take the emotion out of the process. You're not performing for anyone. You're not bending for praise or breaking under criticism. You're grounded in your purpose. You're locked in on your vision. Every step forward is for you. Not for the camera. Not for the crowd. Not for social media. Just for the mission. And when that mission finally becomes visible, it's not just another post on the timeline. It's a moment that commands attention, because it came from a place of authenticity, from real effort, real pain, real perseverance. That's why it shocks people. Because they didn't see the struggle, they didn't see the sacrifice, they didn't see the thousands of hours. They only see the result, and it's undeniable. In silence, you become a builder, a student, a master. You're not distracted by competition or comparison, because your only focus is on growth, on becoming better than you were yesterday, on pushing past limits that others don't even know you're facing. That's the kind of work that changes lives. That's the kind of work that doesn't need to be loud, because its impact is thunderous. And the beautiful part is, when you do arrive, when success finally shines through the cracks, people won't just be impressed. They'll be inspired. Because you didn't get there by hype. You didn't get there by noise. You got there by showing up, staying disciplined, and building something real. Something that couldn't be ignored even if they tried. The essence of achievement lies not in the volume of your words, but in the consistency of your actions. There's an unmatched power in quiet determination, the kind that doesn't need recognition, doesn't need an audience, and doesn't crave validation. When you commit to working hard in silence, you commit to trusting the process, believing in your vision, and allowing the results to speak for themselves. The truth is, the loudest people in the room are often the ones trying to convince others they're doing something. But those who are truly grinding, truly building something lasting, understand that progress doesn't always look flashy. Sometimes it's hidden in the small, repetitive acts done daily without praise. In a world that thrives on attention, where everyone is constantly broadcasting every move, staying silent feels almost radical. But that silence is where real power builds. When you're not spending your energy explaining your next move, defending your dreams, or trying to impress others, you're conserving energy to pour into the one thing that truly matters: the work. Silence becomes your strategy, your shield, your sacred space to grow, evolve, and prepare. It's not about hiding, it's about focusing. It's about choosing to grow roots before showing branches. That quiet space is where ideas form into plans, and plans transform into action. Discipline thrives in silence. There's no need to announce every step when you know where you're going. Those who understand this keep their heads down and stay focused. They understand that the grind isn't meant to be glamorous. It's early mornings when no one's watching. It's sacrificing weekends. It's pushing through when motivation runs out, and only commitment remains. They know that success isn't achieved by those who speak the loudest, but by those who refuse to quit, who show up again and again when no one's clapping, when no one's noticing. There's a different kind of confidence that comes from quiet progress. It's a deep internal trust that you're on the right path even if no one else sees it yet. That kind of confidence doesn't need affirmation. It doesn't need to post every milestone or shout every success. It's rooted in the belief that results, real, lasting results, are impossible to ignore. Eventually, people take notice. They'll wonder where you came from, how you moved so quickly, how you achieved so much seemingly out of nowhere. But the truth is, it wasn't sudden. It was just unseen. All the hours, all the effort, all the discipline, it was all happening while no one was watching. And that's the most satisfying part. Not proving anyone wrong, but proving yourself right. Knowing that you stayed true to the mission when it was lonely, when it was hard, when the applause was silent. Knowing that you held the vision when others doubted it. Knowing that you worked while others talked. In that silence, you developed more than just results. You developed resilience, patience, strength, and humility. Qualities that can't be faked, only earned through consistent effort. The temptation to talk about your plans is real. It gives a false sense of accomplishment, as if saying it out loud makes it more real. But speaking too soon can often kill the momentum. It invites judgment, pressure, and unnecessary distractions. When you stay quiet, you protect your energy. You keep the focus inward. You don't let other people's opinions shape your journey. You build in peace and reveal in power. That's the kind of success that lasts. the kind born from deliberate, unshakable focus. There's another benefit to silence. It builds mental toughness. It forces you to rely on your own motivation, your own sense of purpose. When there's no one cheering you on, no spotlight on your hustle, you learn to be your own source of drive. That internal motivation is the most powerful kind, because it doesn't waver when the likes stop or the attention fades. It's the type of motivation that doesn't need a stage to perform. It just needs a reason. And for those who are truly committed, the reason is enough. It's easy to get caught up in the noise, to want to share every small win, every update, every plan. But there's something sacred about holding your dreams close, working on them privately, letting them grow before you unveil them to the world. Not out of fear, but out of respect. Because what you're building matters. Because rushing to show it off would diminish its value. Because the process deserves to unfold fully before it's put on display. When success finally comes, and it will, if the work is real and the effort is consistent, it won't need an announcement. It will announce itself. People will see the results. They'll see the transformation. They'll see the progress that can't be ignored. And that moment will mean more than any premature celebration ever could. Because it came from integrity, from grit, from relentless, quiet dedication. Working in silence isn't about hiding. It's about building something so strong it doesn't need defending. It's about understanding that what's seen is only the tip of the iceberg, that the real magic happens beneath the surface. It's in the habits, the sacrifices, the routines that no one else sees. And that's okay. Let them talk, let them guess, let them underestimate. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You owe yourself results, so don't chase approval, don't waste time trying to prove anything to people who don't matter. Don't worry about who's watching. Just do the work. Stay in your lane. Keep your eyes on your vision. Because when you work hard in silence and that success finally shows up, there won't be any need to say, "I told you so." The results will do all the talking. In a world saturated with noise, with constant status updates, announcements, and self-promotion, there's a quiet strength in those who choose to stay silent and let their work do the talking. True power lies not in proclaiming intentions, but in the quiet execution of them. It's the quiet hustle, the late nights that nobody sees, the decisions made when no one is watching that eventually lead to success. There's a certain magic in working without the need for validation, without broadcasting every effort. That kind of discipline separates the dreamers from the doers. Those who truly want something don't need to constantly tell the world about it. Their energy is not spent on convincing others. It's reserved for building, crafting, evolving. The ones who are serious don't seek approval. They seek progress. Every moment of effort, every failure, every lesson learned behind closed doors becomes part of a story that will one day speak for itself. And when that moment comes, it arrives not with fanfare but with undeniable results. There's a difference between ambition and performance. Many people talk about what they will do, but only a few get up every morning and actually do it. The real distinction comes when someone decides that the process itself matters more than the perception. They know success isn't owed, it's earned. They know it doesn't come from applause, it comes from action. It doesn't care about how many people are watching. In fact, it thrives in the shadows where distractions fade and purpose becomes the focus. In silence, there's clarity. When no one else is around, there's no need to impress, only to improve. That's where resilience is forged. That's where self-discipline is tested. Growth doesn't need a spotlight, it needs commitment. Whether it's studying when everyone else is partying, practicing when no one else is watching, or grinding when no one else understands why, those quiet moments become the foundation of something powerful. The temptation to speak, to show, to share progress before it's ready, is strong. But there is strength in restraint. Holding back when it would be easier to boast is a sign of maturity. It's a sign of someone who isn't working for approval, but for excellence. In that silence, work becomes sacred. It's not about proving others wrong. It's about proving to oneself what is truly possible. Each step taken in silence adds weight to the eventual breakthrough, because when success finally comes, it hits harder when it's unexpected. There's a reason people are shocked when someone rises seemingly out of nowhere. It's because they weren't paying attention to the silence. They didn't see the early mornings, the rejections, the sacrifices. But just because no one saw it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Every quiet effort adds up. Each time the decision was made to stay disciplined, to keep pushing, to get back up, it built something inside. That something, call it grit, call it drive, call it heart, is what delivers when the time comes to rise. Silence builds confidence.